before. I don't know if I can see the chat. I'm hoping I will see it. I've got my phone set up against my window. So welcome. I see one of you is here joining me. This is exciting. So I'm just going to do the live, join, leave, whatever happens, happens. I'm going to start off just answering the first question I got on my community post, which is, how long did it take me to lose the weight initially? So I'm just going to dive into that question. Obviously, this live will be available as a replay afterwards anyway, so those who missed it can watch it back. And I'm sure if you are a regular viewer, see, I can't see any names here. I don't know how to. So I'm learning. This is my first live. I'm learning, but I can't see who's joined. Maybe I need to do this on the laptop next time. But anyway, so the question was, how long did it take me initially to lose the weight? And for those of you who are regular viewers, you would have seen my fat or chubby photos when I was 18, 19 years old. And so what happened is we were living in South Africa, and then we moved to Greece. Now, when we immigrated to Greece, my mom is Greek, we didn't have a car. In South Africa, you almost cannot get by without a car. So we had to walk everywhere in Greece. We had to walk and use public transport. And so that is how I lost the weight. And I can't remember exactly. I mean, I wasn't really measuring it like I do now. Hello, Cecilia. Hi, afternoon. And so it took me, I think, between 6 months to a year to lose the weight. I think I was around 64 kilograms when I arrived in Greece, when I landed there. And slowly the weight just came off, but I don't think we had a bathroom scale. I don't remember. I can't remember weighing myself in Greece, but I do remember looking at myself in the mirror, feeling the fit of my clothes as we lost weight. So it started off with a lot of walking. And what I used to do back then, because I didn't know anything about diet, nutrition, how to lose weight, back then the only diet book I came across was a very low fat. Basically, you cut out your fats, which is not healthy, and it leaves you hungry. But what I did was, I remember just trying to not eat too much and going to bed never feeling overstuffed, and just portion control, really. Now, if you know anything about the Greeks just want to feed you. So it was a challenge, but I think just over time, I lost the weight because every day we had to walk to get anywhere. We had to walk to the grocery store. We had to carry our tired, and I wasn't used to walking. And believe it or not, I wasn't a very active teenager, so I wasn't used to activity at all. By the way, if you have any questions, you can pop them in the comments. So now that I see the comments popping up. So yeah, slowly over time, I lost weight. And I think it was like 6 months to a year. And I probably got down, I'm just going to guess now. Again, I don't think we had a scale. Probably got down to around 55 kilograms. So I probably lost around about 10 kilograms. So that is like 22 pounds. And again, it was more just based on how I looked and I felt and the clothing and how it fitted. So although, you know, I was glad to lose weight, but I wasn't obsessive. I was just living my life in Greece, trying to make a living for myself. But yeah, I would say it was walking and portion control, really. That were the two things. I will actually do a new video on my weight loss, how I lost all the weight. Remember, if you guys remember, that YouTube took that video down. There's a warning against my channel, which expires in January. So I thought I might just wait till January to just remake that video. And I'll probably make it better this time around and tell the story even better. So that is coming. There is another question I wanted to answer here. I've written them down. It was a comment on one of my other videos. A lady had said, in terms of hunger and food selection, how to deal with hunger, or maybe which foods to select. She says she eats high protein, low fat, and her total daily energy expenditure is 1,400 calories, which is not a lot. I mean, mine's about 1.6, and I'm active because I'm small. So it's kind of sad. Anyway, so she says it is difficult to eat so little, and I guess she's obviously dealing with hunger. And then she said she was told to try bulletproof coffee, and I'm assuming she was told to try the bulletproof coffee for satiety, to keep her feeling fuller. Now, I've been keto, so I've done the whole Banting thing. I've done every sort of major diet under the sun. When you are doing low carb, high fat, you don't feel that ravenous hunger. Well, sometimes you do. I see someone else has joined. You sometimes do, but you feel, it's a different feeling. You feel more, or for me at least, I can only speak from my experience, more of like a weak feeling. My muscles didn't feel energized. So with keto, you don't have that like ravenous carb hunger, but I felt lethargic. When you're on a diet plan and you're sticking to a certain amount of calories, and I'm assuming she's worked it out and that's correct for her. Maybe she's not active, maybe she's small, because 1,400 calories is not a lot, but for a small lady who doesn't exercise a lot, that could be right if she wants to lose weight. It's not a lot, and I know it sucks. It sucks being a small woman. So she's probably experiencing some waves of hunger, and I know I do too when I'm limiting my calories or being pretty good on my diet. And the only thing I can tell you, and I know this is not going to sound nice or helpful, is that you have to ride those little waves of hunger during the day. And they do come because if you were used to eating, let's say 2,000 calories, I'm just using examples here. If you were used to eating 2,000 calories and you've cut it down, I'm going to use me as an example, to 1,600, your body is used to more food. And the hunger, in fact, I was discussing this with my partner this morning, talking about this very question. The hunger, number one, is a signal that your body is saying, well, where's the extra food? And it's a sign that it's working. And I know we don't want to hear this, and it's hard to talk about hunger on YouTube because I don't want you to think I'm telling you to starve yourself. If 1,400 calories is what your total daily energy expenditure actually is, you've worked it out, you've done maybe you've used an online calorie calculator and you are small and petite, it could be right for you. You do need to eat those calories, don't starve yourself, but there will be a little wave of hunger, especially if it's new to you and you're not used to that amount of food. Also, if you are ramping up your exercise at the same time, you might feel a wave of hunger, but remember, if it's a temporary hunger pang, it will pass. If you are genuinely super hungry all the time, starving yourself, then your calories are too low. You do need to eat. So I would never, ever, ever advocate for under eating. You do need to work. That's why I say work it out. Use an online calorie calculator so that you're not guessing and then starving yourself for no reason. You do need to eat. Even during a weight loss journey, you must eat. Now, of course, there are people who follow intermittent fasting, and intermittent fasting is a way, but it's not a way that I don't enjoy it for myself because I am active. I go to the gym on a normal schedule. I go to the gym every day, Monday to Friday at least, sometimes on a Saturday. If I've skipped a Monday, I might even go on a Sunday. Like I don't have a strict plan, but my usual would be 5 days a week weight training and then a run here and there. So on average, 6 days a week. So for me, I do need to eat. I usually eat when I wake up. Okay, I'll give you my little rough routine when I'm being quote unquote good. I don't like that word. There's no good or bad. It's all just food. Hi, someone else has joined. So like I say, you can leave any, I wonder if I can see the chat here. You can leave any questions in the comments section. So when I'm on my normal schedule, I wake up, I have a square of Lindt dark chocolate. I'm trying to not have peanut butter with it anymore because I am trying to I just want to get a little bit leaner for Christmas, like a kg, not a lot. I have 2 cups of coffee in the morning just because, I don't know, I like my morning routine. Okay, let me look at your question here. I'm struggling with protein intake to match my macros. I have a video. I don't know if you've seen it. It's 1,500 calorie diet with 120 grams of protein in that video. I give you like a sample diet, but I'll answer your question now. So I'll have my square of Lindt. I'll have 2 cups of coffee. And then when I'm being good, I'll have egg whites with 1 whole egg. So I always try and include 1 yolk, not every day, because egg whites are so convenient if you can find them. Egg whites with either oats or like a piece of bread. So there's a carb and a leanish protein source, and then the fats are in the Lindt and the egg yolk. Then I'll go to gym, do my workout, come home and have maybe a whey protein shake, maybe not, depending on hunger levels. And then for lunch, it would usually be some kind of lean protein, and the guide is like the palm of your hand, but around 120 grams of protein, chicken breast, ostrich steak, fillet, something like that, with veggies, and maybe half a cup of rice or 100 grams of sweet potato, something like that, something healthy. And then I'll have a coffee at mid-morning and a coffee in the afternoon. I switch to decaf though. And then I always try and measure my milk when I'm being good, about 60 mils. I do like milk in my coffee. So I'm willing to not give that up. And maybe, I have to allow room for those calories. And then in the evening, it would be, again, a piece of fish, fillet steak, any lean protein source with veggies. If I feel like I need the carbs, I will have, again, it could be potatoes, it could be any carb source you like, really, depends. So if I'm tracking and I'm being good and I can see on the food app how my carbs are doing, I'll have carbs at night. If I've had more carbs in the day, I won't have them at night. I find at night I don't crave carbs, so I'm good there. And then I always end off the day with my Nomu skinny hot chocolate. In fact, I don't have one here, but it's a sugar-free hot chocolate, just because I tend to be hypoglycemic, meaning my blood sugar can crash if I have like pure sugar. So I can't eat hard-boiled sweets. I can't drink sugar Coke, full sugar Coke. So anyway, that's like my rough eating when I'm being healthy and good, and that's my exercise plan. So I don't intermittent fast, but it can work. And I have a friend he's forever intermittent fasting, and I always see him at the gym. But when he's doing a fast, he looks so lethargic. So it's not necessary for weight loss, but if it works for you, it can work. Just my humble opinion. Okay, let me answer your question. You're struggling with protein. The best thing I can say is that when you say you're struggling with your protein intake to match your macros, the best idea is to use whoopsie, now my phone nearly fell off the window, to use a food tracking app, and then always go for lean protein sources and try and have at least for breakfast, lunch, and dinner some decent sort of sized protein. I wouldn't worry about hitting it bang on target every day unless you're a bodybuilder, unless you're competing. So a lot of my knowledge does come from the world of bodybuilding competitions. I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm a bikini competitor. So in my mind, they are different things, because I personally don't take any performance enhancing drugs, none of that. The little bit of muscle that I have built, and in fact, I must post a picture of before I ever started weight training. My arms were scrawny, no muscle. The little bit of muscle I have built is purely from the gym. I do use creatine to give me a bit of extra strength, and protein. So you can slowly build muscle, but you also don't need to be afraid. Ladies, you are not going to build muscle overnight. And I've put intention behind wanting to build muscle. If you don't train with that level of focus and intention, you're not going to build muscle. It's just not going to happen unless you are on some kind of testosterone or steroid or something. But I do understand, as a female, we want to be skinny. We don't want to be bulky. And I get it. A friend of mine used to say, because she was naturally more muscular, that she doesn't even want to add any muscle to her arm because her arm was already big. And then she says, with a little bit of fat over it, it'll look bigger. So she didn't even want to add like a mil. I get it. And so in that scenario, you could still weight train. You just don't go heavy. You don't weight train to exhaustion and to failure. You can lift weights. You need some resistance to keep your muscle tone and shape, at least in my humble opinion. As we get older, that all softens as well and goes to a ball of poo. Like everything just goes to a ball of poo, as my friend says. So you need to stimulate your muscles at least somewhat, at least 3 days a week. It doesn't need to be a lot, but you can train light. You don't have these people that go on and on about training heavy. I do understand, especially if you want to preserve your bone density, yes, but you don't have to go crazy. And you can then create a nice lean frame, and you won't bulk up, especially if you're only training 2-3 days a week, maybe doing cardio on the other days. It's totally doable to stay small, but you do need to, or at least in my opinion as well, exercise for health, for better sleep, for your mood, for your mental health, for your functional movement, functional fitness. I mean, the older we get, the more we need to do these things to just live a normal life, really. It's my humble opinion. I don't know what you guys think. It's interesting because obviously now I'm talking, I can't see you, and I'm wondering what questions you have. But a point I wanted to discuss was, can you be fat and fit? And yes, you can. And I personally would think that that is preferable to aiming for skinny, skinny, skinny at all times. I think for your long-term health, it's fine to want to lose a bit of weight, but to rather focus on functional movement, on just being fit rather than chasing skinny. I'm chasing leanness because I do want to compete next year. I still have that in my mind that I want to compete, but being lean is not the be all and the end all. It's not going to really make you any happier. It's not going to improve your life in any way, especially if you're already, you have a family, you're married, you're settled, and I'm assuming most of you ladies watching are in your 40s. Now, if you are single, maybe losing weight will help you find someone, and it sounds terrible, but we do live in a superficial world, and I do think men are visually driven, so that could be your motivation, and maybe you guys are looking for that kind of a result. You want to lose weight to be attractive, to get back in the dating market, in which case, if you just want to lose weight, I say it all the time in my videos. I do feel like I repeat myself, and I hope I'm not repeating myself. Pleasure. But if you just want to lose weight, you do need to just keep in mind that calorie budget for the day. So work out your calorie budget. It's pretty easy. You can go online and use those calculators. That's what they're there for. It's scientific, meaning you don't have to guess. The formulas are all done for you. And I would say that that is the safer way to lose weight, because otherwise you don't want to just randomly starve yourself and undereat and undernourish yourself. You do run a risk. I think it's a small risk. I don't think it's a big risk of losing a bit of muscle mass. If you undernourish yourself, because maybe you are lacking amino acids, which is why you do need to hit your protein targets. But just aim for protein at every meal, and I think you'll be good. If you're a bodybuilder or wanting to compete, you do need to be more pedantic with your protein. But if you just want to get skinny, it's your calorie intake for the day. That's really where it's at. And exercise and movement does help you with the deficit. But as I said in my short that I put up yesterday, where I had the McDonald's burger, I don't know who saw that, going for a run only burns around about, at least for me, an extra 200, 250 calories over and above what I would have burned in that hour had I been like this. I'm standing right now. If I'd been standing, moving around the house, maybe doing dishes or whatever, I would have probably burnt around 100, 120 calories in that hour, which is not a lot. Sorry, let me have some water. But going for the run does give me an extra 250, let's say, 250 calories. But that's like only 2/3 of a McDonald's burger. So, this girl just want to be skinny. My desktop job doesn't help. Actually, I had a video I was going to make. Maybe I will make it on how to lose weight, even at a desk job. In the case of a desk job, if you just want to be skinny, it really is about your food. So you put all your focus on your nutrition, because you can't really control the lack of movement. You're at a desk job. You could obviously take as many breaks and get up and move as you can. But remember, there is always a basal metabolic rate, meaning there's always, no matter what you are doing, there's always a base burn throughout the day. Let's say for me, if I just lay on the couch all day, I would burn 1,200 calories. So if I were at a desk job, I would, and I mean, obviously typing, thinking, using your brain, you are still burning calories. So you probably going to add 100, 200, I don't know how much it is, calories to your daily amount. So at a desk job, you would then work out that you need, let's say, 1,400 calories. As an example, I don't know if that's your number. I would definitely use an online calorie calculator. That's your number, 1,400, 1,500. And then I would work out a meal plan, because at a desk job, you can take your food to work, which is the bonus. You can take your food to work, and you are not tempted like me, where I sit and edit. The fridge and the freezer are right there. And so you are in a controlled environment where the food you bring is the food you eat, and you tell yourself you're not going to eat over that. And if people bring food to work, say, thank you, but no thank you. I'm really serious about my weight loss journey. And then you eat your regular breakfast in the morning, and then you eat your controlled dinner at home at night. And if you want to have a fun night out, you can do that once a week or whatever. But that is how you would lose weight. And then this is how I would do it. I would use the afternoons or the evenings or the weekends to just get a little bit of movement in. If you do want to weight train, you don't need much. If you just want to get a bit of shape to your muscles, you can just weight train twice a week on the weekends. Or if you just want to go for a walk or a bike ride or a hike, I don't know what activities you enjoy, so I'm just reading there. It comes down to food. Always with weight loss, it comes down to food, which I know sucks. It sucks because food is the thing that is so easy to overeat. Food is a pleasure. We eat out of boredom. I eat out of boredom. I'm lucky that I'm active, so I can get away with a little bit of boredom eating. And then, look, when I was younger, I used to be more active, and I went through a phase about 5 years ago, where I exercised every single day. My phone is tilting. I exercised every day. I was trying to do a 365-day challenge where I did something every day, and I actually burnt out quite quickly. So you do need a rest day, by the way, if you are into exercise. So I always preach or advocate for 1 day a week of doing nothing. You have to. And I do think for regular folks, people who are not trying to compete, who are not trying to get in shape for an event or something, just eat healthy and eat within your calorie budget during the week. Allow yourself 1 or 2 cheat meals. Don't go overboard and go crazy, so that you're not having to undo a whole lot of, and I don't want to say the word bad. Food is a pleasure. Food is a joy. We must enjoy our food, but we have to enjoy it in moderation. And moderation is the key word, for me at least. Let's see here. Let me see what you say. Sunstar says, I think the meal planning is key and prepping on weekends. Yeah, absolutely. Set myself up for success. Absolutely. Sunday rest day and prep day. So all athletes, well, at least when I was competing, Sunday was prep day. And you're right. Sunday is a good day. Hopefully you're having downtime. You're at home. My biggest thing I find is the mental boredom. If I've prepped food and all that food is starting to look the same day in, day out, week in, week out, it does get a bit boring. It is a hurdle to get over. So if you are able to prep variety as well, try and do that. So maybe you can use, like, if you want for your carbs, use pasta. You don't have to only have rice and sweet potato. Those are just easy, but you can have bread. Obviously, again, if you're not diabetic, and even then, if you're on glucophage or insulin, you could probably have those things, because you're having 1 slice, you're having half a cup of rice, you're having 100 grams of sweet potato. It's not excessive at all. So yeah, just try and include variety into your meal prep. But again, if you think about it, like when I was at school, what did I eat every day? The same thing. It was a sandwich that my mother made, tuna fish sandwiches. Then she would make ham and cheese sandwiches. It was the same thing. Now, I don't even want to see a sandwich, because that's all I ate throughout all my school years. But in general, we tend to do well when we eat the same foods day in and day out. So I would say include some variety: oats and bread and sweet potato and rice and pasta and couscous or quinoa, any sort of fancy thing you enjoy. Even mealies, they're fairly carby-ish, not super carby. a lot of veggies can be carby, butternut, pumpkin, all the starchy veg. So you can get quite creative as well. It just really depends on how creative you want to get. And there's so much variety in vegetables, mushrooms and pak choy and asparagus and baby marrows and patty pans and radishes and parsnips and turnips and beetroot, and like the list goes on and on. So you can get quite creative. Fruits as well. A fruit is a carb. You can include 1 or 2 fruits a day. And you can have a lot of variety and quite a big volume of food when you eat unprocessed, natural, whole foods, which is nice. When you eat something processed like chocolate or McDonald's burger or a donut, you're getting a lot of calories in a very small little piece of food. So I think unprocessed whole foods are the way to go 90% of the time, 80% of the time, and you will set yourself up for success. Oh, the one thing I did want to share, it's a very easy way to remember like how to make good food choices. I heard, it's not me who came up with this, I heard another YouTuber say that protein and produce is the 2 words to think of. Protein, so lean protein sources, and if you're vegan, I can't just think of those sort of sources off the top of my head, but you guys would know what lean protein sources you can have. So lean protein sources and produce, vegetables and fruits, whole grains. That pretty much sums up a healthy diet, and it's a good way of eating to be lean, to be healthy, you know, for all those good things. So that is always the way to protein and produce. And if you're eating out at a restaurant, protein and produce. Oh, thank you, Surah. Love your channel. You're right about men preferring slimmer women. I know it's not fair, unless, depending on your culture, if you're African, they like the curves, and I live in Africa. It's natural for them to subconsciously seek a mate who looks fertile and healthy. Yeah, I feel my most sexy when I'm slimmer and more confident. My husband prefers me leaner with muscle tone. You're lucky. That's good. Well, if you are lean with muscle tone, because I would need somebody who prefers me that way. Sometimes some people tell me I'm pleasure. Sometimes they tell me I'm too lean. And I know what they mean, because my upper body gets lean very quickly, but I carry my flab here. So like here, I look very lean, but if you saw my legs, you wouldn't say so. But when I was dating on Tinder, and actually I've got a video coming out on Friday about my dating experience, I definitely found and felt that the guys liked the slimmer girls, and I am pretty small and slim, so they just see a little slim girl coming along, and it sucks, I know. And I wish, it sounds weird because I am small, but I wish society didn't judge women on their weight. I wish we were valued for other things. I think that weight, there is obviously a point at which too much weight gets unhealthy, but there's also a point at which being too lean is unhealthy. And I think a lot of women have in their minds not a very healthy ideal. That super skinny look is not healthy for most people. Some women are naturally long and lean. I mean, I see some ladies, they are just tall and leggy, and that's how they are naturally. I'm not. And so for me, it's harder to be lean. But I enjoy competing. I enjoy looking leaner, so that when I put on a bikini, I feel confident. I wish I felt more confidence, curvier, but I'm not that hourglass shape. My waist is fairly boxy. It's not nipped in. So I feel like, I don't know. Anyway, it's just a lot of it's in my head, and I'm sure for you guys as well, a lot of it's in your head. But I think, unfortunately, society, especially for the white woman, society wants us to be skinny. Like I say, Brazilians and African cultures, they like quite a bit of curves on the woman, and I think it's beautiful. It's wonderful. So I wish in modern Western society that were a look that people could go for. Oh, thank you. Thanks. She says, I have a stunning figure, just for those of you who watch the replay, and I don't know if the comments would come up. Look, I work hard at my figure, so thank you. I do. I work hard. As a teenager, I thought I would be chubby my whole life. I thought that that's who I was and what I was. which actually ties into the last point I want to make before I go out. I won't let this live go on too long. When I was a teenager, a little bit chubby, not obese, not hugely overweight, but just a little chubby, probably chubbier than a lot of the other little girls. I just thought, well, that's my genetics. And my mom was always very skinny until midlife. And I thought, well, she's the skinny one and I'm the chubby one, and I'll never get small. But when I lost weight in Greece, that was the first time I lost weight, I was like, oh, actually, I'm not so chubby naturally. Like, I can be slimish. And I wasn't super slim. I was about 55 kilograms. Today, now, I think I'm about 52. And then when I got in shape for that first bikini contest and I got lean, it wasn't so much of a struggle, actually. I just followed the coach's diet plan, did my best, and I got lean quite quickly. And I was like, oh, there's actually like a lean, quote unquote, skinny girl inside of me. And I realized that so much of the weight loss journey is to do with your identity and what you think is possible for you. There were moments during that contest prep. The first one was the time I got the leanest, where maybe I dialed it in too much. I got a bit too lean. I don't think that that is a good look for me. I think somewhere where I am now is okay, maybe a kg down. But I had it like that epiphany, that aha moment, like, oh, the lean person is there. She was just always underneath a layer or two of fat. Yes, you have to make an effort and work towards getting to your lean self. But I do think it starts with a mental image or realization that she's in there. She's inside of you. And in fact, this is another video I want to make. But that, and now obviously if you're a short, squat person, you will never look as skinny as a long, tall, leggy person. So there was a girl who competed. I knew her. She was a friend of my friend's. Very short, sort of squat girl who didn't have to do much. And she was muscular. You know, you get some people, their calves are big, their thighs are big. I mean, mine are pretty big-ish, not super big. So that's genetics. There's genetics, and then there's what you can do with your genetics. But whatever your genetics, even if you are the shorter, squatter, more muscularly built lady, you can lose the fat over the muscle within reason. I mean, I'm talking within reason. You don't want to go under like 15% body fat unless you're competing. Even there for a female, you know, you don't want to go too low. For most women, we do need to be around 20% body fat to be healthy. I think the average for a female is somewhere between 20 and 35%. You know, women need more body fat. But where was I going with all of that? But your identity. But if you came from an overweight family and everyone around you was overweight and you thought, well, this is just who I am, there is a slimmer person inside of you. Now, you, like I say, you might never look like a runway model. Most of us won't. But your slim version, the version that is your best, or your slimmest version for you, however you define it, because I don't want to define that for you. I think all women are beautiful. But your slim version, she's in there. She's just underneath a few extra kilograms, and there's no judgment. So what if we are carrying extra weight? We all go through seasons. We all go through stress. We all go through times when it's just not possible or doable to lose weight. I mean, we go through death of a loved one, divorce, illness. Who knows? You know, there's so much shit that goes on in the world and in life. And I do think teenagers should not diet. So if you are under 21, please don't do any of this. But as adults, obviously, we can now take control of our eating. But I do think eating healthy and being in shape is good for a long, healthy life. But it's really up to you. It really is up to you. The only person who can do it is you. Off to work. Have an amazing evening. Bye. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to, I think, end this live now. I'm so glad we did this. I was nervous, I must say, but I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, let's just see. I'm learning this now. I gained so much weight when my toddler got diagnosed with leukemia last year. I'm sorry to hear that. Now I'm trying my best to take my life and health back and not give in to depression. Depression is a real thing, and depression would seriously throw me off kilter as well. I tend towards depression. 100% eating healthier and exercise for longevity. That's actually my biggest goal. I want to be around for all the things that my son does later in life when he gets married, has kids, whatever he chooses. I want to be here, and I want to be here functionally. I don't want to be in a wheelchair with a walking cane. So that is my motivation. I know I do these short-term goals like fitness competitions just to give me that kick up the butt, because I eat far healthier when I'm on prep. When I'm not, and depression, I suffer, I think sometimes with depression, I tend to get like, oh, what is the point? When I'm in that headspace, I just want to eat all the wrong things. My drug of choice in terms of food is cake, chocolate cake. And my trigger foods, chocolate cake, macaroni cheese. I don't have an off switch when it comes to those foods. So I really need to limit them. And that's why I prefer to like maybe have a challenge. It's either like run a marathon, prep for a contest, prep for a photo shoot, get in shape for an event. Like now I'm using Christmas Day as my day. I want to just drop a kg before Christmas, just to keep me on track. Whether I drop the kg or not doesn't matter, but it's just a thing in my mind. So like, okay, I'm going to be good so that on Christmas Day, I can enjoy myself. So yeah, that's how I do it. Okay, anyway, I'm going to wrap up this live. Thank you for joining me. Lee, you've got this. You've got this. It's up to you. Only you can do it. But here's a community of women doing the same thing, wanting the same things, and your health is so worth it. Invest in your health. I'm so sorry to hear about your son and his leukemia, but you deserve. I'm a carb addict. Yeah, aren't we all carb addicts, actually? I never had a sweet tooth, but I'll eat a ton of carbs when I'm depressed. Now I'm just in a place where I refuse to give in. Good for you. And if you do fall off the bandwagon and have a bad day, carbs, there's nothing wrong with carbs, just the volume of carbs is what counts. If you fall off the bandwagon, get back on the next day. It's like quitting smoking or something. I always say, if you quit 100 times, the 101th time might stick. So same with diet. If you fail, just get back on it the next day. If you fail, get back on it the next day. At least restarting and never giving up gives you the best chance of success. But if you like fail on your diet and then you just give in, oh, okay, well, that's it. I couldn't do it. You see, it's too hard. Then you'll never, ever achieve the success that you want. And it's totally your success. This is your body, and you've only got one body in life. You've only got this one body. So to me, it's so worth the time and the investment. But the best investment you can do is food. Eat good food and not too much of it. Okay, guys, I'm going to love and leave you. It's supper time here. And thank you. Thank you for saying I'm an inspiration. Thank you. Love you guys. And I will see you guys in the next video very soon. And yeah, happy December and not too much partying. Bye, guys. Bye.